Welcome to the Reflective Space podcast. I'm Taniya Hussain. This is for the helpers, therapists, social workers. Yes, you've got supervision, you've got tools. But when was the last time someone called you out on your dark side? I know mine, the impatience, the cynicism, the judgment. It wasn't easy to face. We're not just angels in this work. We're angels and devils, both. Today, we talk about why owning all of it, especially the messy parts, might be the only way to survive this work, and why we absolutely can't do it alone.
Sometimes you have to be completely broken. You have to let your heart break, however painful and difficult. And I feel this really very profoundly. That sometimes physical pain is hard, is really hard. And when I'm physical pain, I'm the worst person to be around. But it goes. It usually goes with some painkillers or even some strong painkillers or exercise, whatever, it goes. But emotional pain, it's when you're on your own, is so crippling.
I have felt crippled. I have felt caged. I have felt trapped. I have felt as if I was this bubble. I was working a full-time job, building a business, being a single mom. I would travel, and nothing. It didn't occur to me, SharRon, you're sleeping off of 4 hours. That's not enough. That's not sustainable. It never occurred to me that what I was doing was not normal, because it was my norm. And so I would get up in the morning, leave the house at 4:30, go catch a flight at 6 o'clock, go to Florida, work, have a business meeting, come back, pick up my son, go to his basketball game, come home, help him go to work next day. And I would do that and do that and do that. And also I have 2 sick parents. And so I was, but that, remember, it became my norm. And I didn't realize that what I was doing was beyond human capacity.
I have to give a lot of credit to my wife, and I think that's why it's so important to be surrounded by people who care about you and live in community and not be isolated. Because I think if I'd been living alone, I probably wouldn't have gone for help. But she really insisted that there was something wrong and I needed to get some guidance. And when we knew there wasn't anything wrong professionally, that's when I sought the help of a psychologist. And from my perspective, if I had not done something proactive, I think it could have easily led to a drug or an alcohol problem or something that would have been much worse for me from a licensure standpoint in the end. So I think getting help earlier is better.
But let me just say this, and Tanya, I know that you probably feel the same way. I think it's important that we realize that everybody, even therapists, don't have language around their emotions. I have found a lot of therapists who could not give language to their emotions. And when you can't describe it or pinpoint it, it's trying to hit a bullseye that you can't see. So I think it's so important to try to put some language around it so somebody can walk you through it. And I think that is key. I think because I was able to put some language, even though I couldn't get the emotions, I could say it feels like I feel suffocated. Or it feels like I'm drowning. Feels sick in my stomach, or feels like a migraine.
And it isn't even, like you said, just trauma. We see the body broken in ways that cause most people to be repulsed. And while we're trained to deal with that, some of that has an effect on us whether we realize it or not. And then the emotional things we deal with on a daily basis, I think it's important to learn how to unpack a lot of that emotionally.
I think sometimes when you're dealing with that, day in, day out, you normalize it. And I think sometimes when you're dealing with trauma, whether that's physical trauma or mental trauma, when you start normalizing something, it gives you a really skewed perspective on reality. It's like social workers, we're constantly dealing with domestic violence, child sexual abuse. And then it makes you think, well, the whole world is dark and you don't see the light and the joy and the happiness and like just having the nice side of family life.
But I think when you have people in your life who are close to you, they'll be able to identify changes. I have friends who tell me, SharRon, you're not sleeping. SharRon, you're gaining weight. SharRon, your hair is coming out. SharRon, you get snappy. SharRon, you're writing. I have a blog. Your writing is getting very dark. Why? They are internal loving stakeholders. They can see patterns, and I give them permission to help me understand how they are experiencing me. And I don't know how people experience me. I think I'm wonderful. I don't know I'm chopping everybody's head off. So you have to have people in your life to give you some feedback, because we all have blind spots. And you can only have illumination of your blind spots if you have people who you trust, who love you, who are not threatened by you, are jealous of you, can tell you when you are misbehaving. We have to be accountable to someone. If you think about people who make the biggest strides in Alcoholics Anonymous or Overeaters Anonymous, there's some accountability. Somebody has to be given permission to speak into your life. And like you said, there are a mirror, but they have to be a mirror that's not cracked. And it means that I know that a mirror is cracked if they have not done their own work. I don't allow people to speak into my life if they have never been in therapy. I don't let people speak in my life if they have never had big failure or big tragedy. You cannot speak in my life if you have not been through divorce or death or devastation. Why? You don't have the expertise and experience to tell me something that's going to really help me.
Why is it that we are helpers of people and then we put an unrealistic expectation on ourselves to be perfect? And then we feel, how can the therapist or how can the business owner be discouraged when they have to be the person that encourages everybody else? And so what I have learned is that authenticity is critical for us to be able to express and be vulnerable. And what I try to say is that I'm a leader among equals. And so I face the same challenges you face. I have discouragement. I have miscommunications. I fear rejection and being misunderstood. I'm concerned about my finances. Because when you're a helper, we have a lot of social workers, therapists, servers of other people on watching this. When you are serving and helping other people, we are sometimes the worst at asking for help from other people.
Oh God, yeah. Tell me about it. It feels so shameful, embarrassing, very, what's the word, painful, because you feel that everybody's judging you and you feel like such a failure.
Was it easy to accept the help after being the help for so long?
To me, it was easy because I was tired. I needed a rescue. I call it emotional rehab. I needed rest. So I felt like I wanted my mommy. You know how you're like, oh, I want my mommy. That's how I felt. I felt so overwhelmed. I felt that I wanted somebody to take care of me. Not in a way that they took care of my bills, but I needed to rest. And then when I was going through that depression state, I slept a lot. And I thought it was just emotional, but I realized I was tired. You don't know, because again, it was slow. And so now when I needed help, so not only did I get a therapist, I got a maid, I got an organizer, I got a cook. I brought in all the work. So I needed help. I accepted help. And I was very intentional, because this is the problem with somebody like me and you, Tanya. We know the school, we know the tools. So I had to get out of, I was analyzing them and judging them at the same time. I didn't know that I was doing it. I'm thinking like, she didn't ask me a follow-up question and he wasn't thorough. So I found myself judging their ability to counsel me. Does that make sense? So after I got over myself and realized, SharRon, be the patient. Doctors can't heal themselves. And then I was able to let go.
Every time it was really about surrender, right? That we give in to the experience that we're having. Because I think for anybody who really attempts to help other people, there's a little bit of a recovering control freak inside of all of us, right? And we really have to learn that life is not manageable on our own terms. That when to serve at our best really means to let go, right?
Let go. That's the highlight for me in this interview. Really, the importance of letting go and getting out of your own way. A lot of the time, because we are very good, a lot of us are very good at what we do, but we are so bad at looking after ourselves. Some of us are so bad at being kind to ourselves. We'll be kind to all the rest of humanity, but to ourselves we say, that's just not good enough. What you just did, you need to work harder.
My wife is a blessing to me from the fact that sometimes my dark times actually brought crisis into our marriage. But she has been very patient with me and has at times in my life said, you help so many people. You have to be willing to let other people help you. And so I think you have to have other people around you. For me, it was my wife, and I was lucky to have that. And then other close people that were willing to help me.
Yeah, I think some way, shape, or form, you have to make a human connection. And it doesn't have to be a sister, a brother, a mother, a father, a spouse, although those are all wonderful. It could be a colleague that you feel like is trusted, a good friend, but you've got to have someone you feel like you can go to and be real with. And I think part of this process is about telling the truth of our interior environment. What makes me sad? What makes me feel hurt, what makes me angry, what makes me glad, and being able to be honest about that with someone. And then as a result of telling the truth of your experience, which is a reflection of who you are, the process of doing that is a very healthy process. And trusting that process allows you, I think, to do a lot of healing as a result. So I feel like that community, whatever it is, whether it's a mental health professional or a trusted friend, is vital in trying to recover and keep your heart.
Keep you together, keep you human, I know that the colleagues that I have within my social work team is a multidisciplinary team. We have a nurse, we have a psychologist, we have social workers, we have youth workers. I think that's probably why I have stayed in that particular team for 21 years, because it is like a community. They're not just work colleagues, they're there for you when you are feeling sometimes really traumatized by a young person that's been demonized and marginalized, when even other professionals are seeing him as this awful, evil person, and you're just seeing him as a child. And I can go to my colleague and actually just sometimes cry.
What stays with me today isn't about techniques. It's the raw moments, SharRon admitting I wanted my mommy, Shawn's wife refusing to let him fade away. My team of 21 years who've seen me cry over kids the world gave up on. We started by saying we're angels and devils. The people who truly love us, they see both. They name our cynicism, our blind spots, not to shame us, but to keep us whole. We teach healing every day, but we forget real healing begins when someone sees all of you, helper and human, light and shadow, and stays. So find your people, the ones who notice when your writing gets dark, who see when you're not sleeping, who make space for both your angels and devils, because the darkness isn't the danger, facing it alone is. FOT updates follow dancingwithdarknessbook.com.